Hello, everyone. Here we are. Oh, so. A few of you know that it's been a rough week. I do apologize that we weren't able to finish off our Halloween month of haunts with the big bang we wanted to. We have Christmas. We have
And
other
Thanksgiving.
holidays and Thanksgiving. We have other holidays. Um, I just appreciate anybody that comes on that understands. A few of you know what we've been through. Um, just glad to be back. As you've seen in my title, I put live therapy because it actually, I think this is doing us good to be on. Um, we will we will be back tomorrow night, and we will actually have a regular show on the other side. Then Wednesday skip. Thursday we will have a show on Real Talk. Hi Cactus. Hi Linda. Eric. Hi. Um, and then next week I'm not sure what we're gonna do because that is the week that I will be over my oldest daughter's to watch the grandkids while she's on a business trip. Um, so I might take my computer over and do a live over there. I don't know, but if not, I promise you the following week we will start our regular shows again.
Why don't you have this on?
I don't know. Okay, echoes on. Or, yep.
Karaoke.
And why is echo blinking? Okay. Is the sound okay for everybody? Can you hear me okay?
I was holding my snack tray. Same.
We do have back there, by the way, the Halloween bowl yet that has Hershey's candy bars in it and Reese's peanut butter cups. So it's just right back there.
Where are
I
those
think
Reese's at?
it's under. It should be if you lift up this bowl, it's under there. So, but anyhow, we're glad to be back. This is gonna be good therapy. Whoopsie for us. Here goes the ums again. There's just been a lot besides what some of you know happened. I'm just getting frustrated that a certain person that claimed to have been a good friend, I found out actually unfriended me and I did nothing, so it kind of goes in with the course of events that was set up. And
Just that it echoes a bit when you turn around.
when you turn around, don't turn around. Yeah, this one's supposed to. Is it okay now, or is your phone is by the?
Yeah, but it's not even on. It's not showing any. Give me this candy bowl.
Hello. There, see, it's doing something now.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. It's not showing like interference.
Oh, okay. Can you hear? Does everything come real clear right now?
What the hell happened to my microphone? Oh, it's being weighed down. I'm.
Well, yeah, because I was trying to figure since I changed the table and everything around to make a new arrangement, how I was going to hook that up. This one over here seems to be okay. So is it still echoing? a bit of an echo, but hey, I'm used to living in a back cave. It comes with care.
Gabriella is echoing a tiny, tiny bit.
Oh, okay.
Why am I echoing?
It might be because of, you think
The
because
cord.
you have the cord or the phone?
Mom,
The phone would get
if there was
static probably.
yes, if there was interference from my phone, it would be doing.
Okay. No, don't be that way with me. I've had a rough life lately.
So am I.
Yeah, I moved yesterday. I was doing a lot of.
Is this better? I don't even think. Okay, it is picking me up. Okay.
Yeah, I moved a lot of things around the dining room. It kind of looks like a hellhole now, but things are getting organized, getting ready for the holidays coming up. So, it could be that maybe the cords. I don't know. So let's, before we continue, I'll start off like we normally do with the weather. Like I said, the last time we talked, it definitely is fall. Our temperature today got like in the high, well, mid 50s. I think it reached 55, 56. Right now it says it's 48, but it says it feels like 43, and we are going to dip down to 36 tonight. So my prediction is I think we may see snow for Thanksgiving. I have a feeling we might have a white Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping we have a white Christmas and New Year's, but you don't always get what you want. So, a lot of things going on. I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about. I did want to apologize to everybody, but people that's on today have been by our side so much. You can have, well, I don't mind the cold weather, Linda. I do like it goes to both realms. If it's bitter cold, I don't like that. But if it's way, way, way too hot, I don't like that. Right now it's cold, but it's doable cold. What I don't like is if we have temperatures like we had today, but it rains also, because there's nothing worse than when it's cold and you have to get the rain on top of it. So I mean that's what gives everybody the flu and pneumonia and all that good shit. So
Why is yours so far away?
because I didn't put it close.
Okay.
Is that a good enough answer?
You got me there, buddy.
I got you there, buddy. Yeah, preparing for the holidays. I got so much stuff to do. The dining room needed it the worst right off the bat. And then I think what we're going to do is we have a hallway between our bathroom and the door that goes out to where their apartment is at. And we have it just packed with boxes and that we moved from the art room up. And that is going to be the next project. And they're going to go upstairs in a room we had upstairs. So I can get it all started, getting ready. But we can discuss things here that we want to do for the holidays. I don't know if we want to do a Thanksgiving. Yeah, we can do Thanksgiving event because we can play the Gobble Gobble song.
Freaking song.
Which we played it for them, remember? So, because everybody said the Gobble Gobble song. They'll remember it when we play it. And then, of course, Christmas. We need to come up with ideas for Christmas, but also that ties in, I think, with the paranormal somehow. I think that would be pretty cool to tie like scary things that happen during the holiday season.
I have a few stories.
That would be
Especially
cool.
from the other house.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
I know
So,
I've told a few of them before too. Oh,
Cactus, I don't know. Did you send? Because I didn't get anything yet. Did you send those stories? Because tomorrow, Gabriella will be covering the Talpas, and I will look up the Philip experiment because she found some pretty interesting stuff on Talpa.
yeah, look
And
at how long it is.
so, oh wow, holy moly, yeah. So Gabriella will be talking about Talpa, and I'll be talking about the Philip experiment, which I haven't done any research on it yet, because I'm just trying to get my mind back together. However, I don't know if anybody, to change the subject completely, if anybody is into, which we talked, I think, right before we went off. I believe because we were talking about Ed Gein. Well, I just watched the Eileen Warnes documentary on Netflix, and needless to say, when I watched it, the first 5 minutes, I got so pissed off already that I'm there like, okay, I know all about Eileen. I didn't know all the details, but I watched her documentaries and that before when she got caught. And the very first 5 minutes of this documentary, well, even Eric got upset, pissed us off to the point that I'm there, you know what? I'm not defending her in any way, but the shit she went through and the comments that was made the first 5 minutes of that, I just, I, they're trying to say it was premeditated. And she said, no, I'm telling you, she should not have been put to the death sentence. She should have been, I think, life in a mental institution with no release, under constant surveillance, because there was things that was presented for any of you that, if you haven't watched it, I'm going to be probably doing some spoilers, that there was things that came up that should have been presented in that trial and wasn't, and kind of answered a lot of questions. But anybody who knows about her, she had a very, very rough life. So did you watch the documentary Cactus?
She says she's still editing stories.
Well, we can read them tomorrow. If not, we can do it on Real Talk on Thursday. So regardless, when you have them, send them, and we'll make sure they're brought up. Even if post-Halloween, a story is a story. So let me tell you about the first 5 minutes of that documentary, why we got pissed. So Eileen Warnes was called a monster, and they dubbed her as not being very attractive, which I don't know what that has to freaking do with anything. And that gets to the first 5 minutes. The police officer that was on the case. Now, as you know, we are so against body shaming in any way, shape, or form. The first 5 minutes, actually, I don't think it was 5 minutes, it probably was in the first 2 minutes. The police officer that came on started talking about catching her, and he proceeded to say about how ugly she was, and that he made a comment that what bothered me the most was, well, you know, to be honest with you, I don't know why anybody would touch her anyhow, because of the way she looked. Like, who says that? That's somebody's daughter.
Especially being a police officer.
Yeah, that's somebody's daughter. You don't say stuff like that. And like Gabriella said, you're a man of the law. You're supposed to be professional, and to say, I honestly don't know why anybody would touch that anyhow. That's a human being that has family, that has a life. And whether you think she's attractive, somebody might think I'm as ugly as a dog, which that's how I feel about myself, but some people might think I'm gorgeous. So it's just the eye of the beholder, but that doesn't make or break the person that you are. How much do you know about other than what I told you? Hardly anything?
Yeah, I would have to do my research.
When she was a baby, her grandparents adopted her, made her theirs. They were very, very, very devout Catholics. They were very religious, and they did raise her pretty strictly. And she said she did get the bout a couple times, but she said not a big deal. She loved her grandparents to death. By the time she was 15, she ran away. But when she was in high school, she had a group of friends, real good friends, and they conspired against her, and they gang raped her. And that kind of started the course of events. So between the age of 15 and in her early 20s, she said she was raped, both gang and regular, over and over and over again, at least 30 times. And then that's when she turned into walking the streets. And she had a lot of Johns. She said probably over 400, many, 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 many men. And when she met her girlfriend apparently convinced her that, hey, you don't take that shit, you don't get abused like that, because she was great even as a prostitute, which is possible, contrary to what some people may think, that if you're a prostitute that can happen. Yes, it can, because you still have to give consent. And so her first victim, I'm not going to get into detail. You have to watch it, but it was very, very, very brutal and gruesome what he did to her. Later on, she changed her story, but her testimony, she broke down and cried, and I don't think she's that freaking good of an actress. And it led to her ousting him, and that was set up like the course of events. The funny thing about it, which is she did get the death penalty. It came back, the jurors found her guilty on first-degree murder and sentenced her to the death sentence, the death penalty. But one of the reporters ended up finding a tidbit of information that the prosecuting attorney actually had in his possession, and he said he didn't see it. But she brought up that the first victim had a history, and his history was of attempted rape, and he ended up in jail for 10 years. And he said that he was so mentally unbalanced that he was glad that they put him away. His psychiatrist said that he told him that if they wouldn't have caught him and put him away, that he would have been capable of doing something really, really bad, which leads to what happened with him and Eileen. So he did have a history. It could have been prevented maybe right there at that point, but it seems like that police officer and the people involved around that police officer and the prosecuting attorney, they had made up. She was ugly. She was a prostitute. They didn't give a shit. So basically, that was the whole story. And she had a really, really, really rough life. It got so bad that they were doing appeals because of the finding that out new information, which she had already found God by. She got heavily into the Bible. And she said, it doesn't matter what I do or what I say, because they're not going to listen. They've already got their mind made up that I'm a prostitute. It was premeditated. So she says, I'm going to confess. She says, I'm changing my story. I lied about this. I lied about that. I just want to be put to death so I can be with my maker. And you really can't blame her. Even her friends said she had nothing to fight for. She had all the fight in her, going through the trial and confessing right off the bat and telling what happened to her, and nobody cared. So she just wanted to meet her maker. So she got her wish.
That's like the whole story of 13 Reasons Why. Hannah Baker, she committed suicide. Sorry, YouTube.
She unalived herself.
She unalived herself because she was raped multiple times, and before she unalived herself, she had all these tapes to all the people who did her wrong sent out to them. And if they didn't watch it, then people knew. People knew who watched those 13 tapes. People knew who didn't watch them. And
it's sad. Nobody should have to. I mean, if you're trying to reach out for help and you're doing stuff like that, sometimes, I mean, you can't make it better, but sometimes something as simple as an apology helps, or acknowledging that there was wrong done. But then there's people that will never acknowledge that there was wrong done, or they're proud. They're proud, you know, and the girl there like that, you know, and I like it. Come back to Eileen Warnes, her case, like she got done fighting. There's a point that you can't fight anymore, and she just got to that point, and it's sad. And I mean, and that was like when we were talking about Ed Gein. He knew he did all that, but then he was so mentally unbalanced that he convinced himself that he didn't remember doing all that. And he was able to pass lie detector tests and everything else because he had put his mind on that mindset that he was telling the truth, that he did nothing wrong. So, just crazy, crazy, crazy. I watched Cactus when Charlize Theron portrayed her. I watched that movie, which of course when they make a Hollywood movie, they do exaggerated things, but watching the documentary where testimony came out of her own mouth and you could see her actions, her emotions. When she was up on the bench giving her testimony, it was hard watching. And later on, she said she changed her story and said she lied some things. I don't think, well, she said that because she knew she had no chance of getting an appeal or that anybody would listen to her. And to be honest with you, she wasn't beautiful. She wasn't attractive, but she wasn't as ugly as what they made her out to be. She was just plain, you know, but that's no reason to bash somebody. Like, I don't understand this body shaming, and I don't understand a comment by a police officer saying with the way she looked. And to be honest with you, I don't understand why anybody would even think of touching her anyway. What is that telling society? What is that telling our daughters and our sisters and our, you know, our daughters' daughters? And that's just awful, where even sex is based on you're not supposed to have an intimate relationship with anybody if you're ugly. You're not worthy. Like, I just don't get it. It's just very disturbing, and I just it just bothered me. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad it's done and over with. But she got what she wanted. She did want to meet her maker, and she was hoping that she would get into heaven because she said she knew she did bad things, but bad things was done to her too. So she got into religion. She started getting into the Bible real heavily, and she asked for forgiveness. So she had hopes of getting into heaven. So, yeah, see, it's bad enough if just the average person says something like that, but when you're doing a documentary and you're a person of the law and you make a statement, that already set the precedent of what that whole outcome was going to be. It kind of already set it up for things to follow. So,
unfortunately, too, being an officer of the law, you have more control of what can happen in court and and in that type of situation than the actual suspect does. And it's sad.
And the funny thing is when the reporter asked the prosecutor, she says, "Did you know that he had a record?" And he says, "No." He says, "I didn't know anything about that." She says, "Well, the paperwork. Do you know where the paperwork, where the information was found?" And he says, "No. Where was it found?" She says, "In your office."
And
It
she
was
had
sitting
to
there.
have printed it off.
It was in your office,
And
and
looked it
you
up.
guys did nothing about it.
Yeah, he's a fucking liar.
And you could tell because his eyes started getting red, and he just it's like he didn't say, "Oh my gosh, we should hurry up and have a retrial, or we need to submit an appeal," or because he was prosecuting attorney for one, and it didn't really matter because it's like Eileen said, she was fighting a losing battle. They had already dubbed her ugly, not worthy. She was a prostitute. Well, she became a prostitute after what happened to her. That was the only, I mean, if that was the only way she was going to get any type of positive attention. And even then, she said she had many encounters of rape during her prostitution.
Which unfortunately a lot of people don't know, but that's
Very common.
very, very common. And it's really sad because they don't ask for that. Some of them are literally just trying to make a living and to have nothing else to do except for that. And for that to happen to somebody is just, wow.
I've noticed, of course, I'm older, but I've noticed from the time I was younger to time I'm now, of course, you do get, I don't know, the difference of people, how they treated me when I was younger to the difference of people now. And that's one reason my TikTok channel is doing pretty well. And I still have not done a live on there yet. It's just because but I've seen a lot of people on there, I don't body shame anybody, but I shouldn't be afraid to, just based on the different types of people that I've already seen on there.
She's kind of talking about like the somewhat cringy content, not the way that the people look, but
Yeah.
the way that the people act.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why I said the different types of people that come on and stuff like that. So I shouldn't really worry about it, but I think I don't, it's when you have a scar, it's hard to get rid of this. You'll never get rid of the scar. You can help lighten it. But when I was doing that live over at the jail, and there was a couple people doing the body shaming, I'm still like, I guess that's still in my mind, and I don't want to have to go through that again. But I'll tell you what, I can get sassy right now. My tolerance, especially with the course of events recently, you better watch, because I won't hold my tongue. I can't say I've lost all the fight in me, because I still have fight, but I have very low tolerance now for ignorant, awful people, and the body shaming and the belittling and backstabbing. You know who I'm talking about. I have no tolerance for it at this point. And you approach me, say, "Did you say this? Did you say that?" I'm going to say, "Hell yeah." And I'm not afraid to tell anybody anything right to their face. I mean, I might not seem, and I might say I don't have any more fight left in me, but don't cross me. Don't cross me. And don't involve my children in it. And a certain person over there who owns the facility made a very negative comment about my family. And I still owe probably a good throat punch or a kick to the groin for that comment. And we'll just leave it at that. So Yeah, a cactus said it's so true. If you're not considered attractive by society standards, you get treated differently. It's really backward, which is true. Whoops. Do you think it was more accurate? What?
I think she was talking about the movie.
Her testimony on when she was on trial, or what she said, or do you mean the movie compared to Charlene, the one that Charlene? Like, I'm not sure what you mean. Because I think the way it was presented and the way, because the majority of the documentary was one-on-one talking to her and evidence coming out and stuff like that. So
I have a
that's what I was just going to pull.
I have a distant cousin who was arrested with a group of people because my cousin looks like the all-American guy. He got a lesser sentence than his friends, who visually look a lot rougher around the edges.
We had, when I was going back to school, years after I graduated and went back to school, went to Computer Learning Network. And at that time, it was a big thing, well, it's probably still even now, but if you were attractive, the police made a point of pulling over you as a woman just so they can check you out. And if it was for speeding or something, it was always because you were attractive to try
I
to
don't
make
think
an
they
exchange.
can get away with that now
They
'cause they
can't.
have to wear those
The body cams.
cameras, and then once they go off, the sheriff or whatever will contact and be like, "Why is your camera off? Turn it back on right now."
Yeah. This one in particular, he stopped me, and I was speeding, but he gave me a warning. He just like nodded and gave me a warning and kind of gave me a couple winks. And
Sorry, officer.
well, that was what I was told up at Toys R Us. We're like, hey, you want to get more, because we had to do the credit card, we had to do the loyalty card, stuff like that. And at one point, because I was like the top seller of the credit cards and the loyalty cards, and there was the quota that they wanted us to meet, and I was told, well, why don't you just unbutton a couple buttons on your shirt, and that'll get a couple extra of them coming through. And I'm like, okay. Like,
Joe?
no, it was Dan, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah, it was him, but
He's lucky he didn't get in trouble at the workplace for saying
well,
something
here's
like
the
that.
funny thing is, of course, like once a month, or I think it was, we had to take all those tutorials and everything about company policies and sexual harassment. And I know all the guys probably broke the sexual harassment part of the policy over and over and over again, especially our one supervisor. Like some of the things that came out of his mouth was, whew, but we all knew it was like, none of us took it seriously because we all knew it was just part of his personality and he really wouldn't go forth and try anything. But it was just that we were kind of like it wasn't even employees up there. It was like a family. We were all so close knit and we all knew each other's ups and downs.
I think Toys R Us was one of the best jobs that you've had.
It was. I still rank it up there as number one. And the people that I work with, there was only one that kind of made me a little uncomfortable. But other than that, everybody was so close knit. And I mean, we had our quirks at times. Everybody does, but they were just ranked so high up there. If they would reopen up in the same area, I don't care if I'm 95 years old, I'd put my application and go back to work there, because that was probably the best time of my life working with that crew up
I
there.
was so sad when I found out that it closed down. I was like, that was our child.
When I ran into Jason going over to jail the one day, because he's working at the post office, and we ran into each other talking. I told him that I was working at jail. He said, "I see you there going in and out." And he said, "Congratulations." And I said, Jason, I said, if Toys R Us opened back up, would you go? And he says, because I miss it. He said his daughters looked at him and said, "Dad, I really wish you was back at Toys R Us," because they loved it. I mean, you could not
It was
work
the
in that
best.
particular store.
It was the best childhood place to go to. Like, you were feeling sad, or in Dylan's case, you get a freaking concussion. Go to Toys R Us, get some Star Wars stuff.
It was in that location in Johnstown. That was the best Toys R Us. I don't think anybody could have ever said anything bad about it because it was the best people. Management was phenomenal. I've never seen management as good as the management there. And, you know, a lot of companies, especially with winter weather, they want you to get work no matter what. Every single one of them said, "Hey, we want you at work, but we don't want you to get killed on your way down to work either. So if you feel it's not safe, you're not going to get in trouble for not coming to work." So, I mean, they were that type of crew. So, let's see, people who visually look like.
Yeah. Linda did say the movie.
The movie was, there was a lot of things in the movie that was factual that compared to the documentary, but there was a lot of things that was left out. And of course, some of the storyline and that was changed, but it was pretty accurate to the most part. I mean, I haven't seen the movie in years, so I don't remember real well compared to the documentary. But I do know that the court part and the facts itself was pretty head on. But there was a lot of stuff that was left out, and because it was a movie for Hollywood, so Cactus is about visually looking rougher around the edges.
It was about.
Yeah.
That's why I read that.
But yeah, there's and that's the case. If you've got good looks, you can pretty much get away with anything. You get these girls that, you know, that's the same as those two girls that are doing those videos. They're not really doing the videos on their investigation. They're doing videos to show themselves on camera. They always come on with real short shorts on or short skirts and lots of makeup. And they're like, the camera's on them. When you're doing an investigation, the camera's supposed to be on the building that you're in.
On what you're investigating.
On what your investigation. And they're not doing that. So, and Kiwi, people make assumptions based on stereotypes. 100% yes, that's true. And it's sad because it's the same as families. If you have a family that's overall a bad family, that a lot of the members get in trouble, they automatically assume that you're going to be like that. Perfect example is when I was starting up high school, our last name, there's a lot of relatives that had that last name that were in trouble all the time. So by the time I got to high school and they saw what my last name was, they're there, oh, until they got to know me, saw what kind of a student I was, and they're like, oh, you're not like the other ones. No, they're not. My family, with the exception of a few, were not the troublemakers. So you have to be delicate how you word things because it's just. But with any of you on here, I know how you guys are. So me, I would know what you're talking about. Anybody that would watch it, I can understand that you have to kind of watch how you phrase things. I did get cheap toys, Linda, for my kids. Like it was pretty much almost every, I know every payday, but pretty much a couple times during the week. I would go, we had sales that there was things that was $20, $30, and sometimes I'd be able to get it for pennies on the dollar. Sometimes as cheap as 3 cents or 5 cents.
Well, that's like, I remember that one day, I think it was for my birthday, we couldn't get anything. I didn't know what I wanted or anything, so you took us to Toys R Us, and I got to pick out, I think it was that makeup palette or something. I was like, yay!
And they always had good deals like that. Like I said, some of the deals, when I got them their PlayStation, I never thought, working at Toys R Us wasn't great pay, and I was only a part-time worker. And I never thought, because PlayStations weren't cheap, and the kids wanted a PlayStation, and they're like, kids, that's just something, it's just too expensive. I can't see, I don't know how we're going to get it. And we tried, and we figured out, and we just never had the money to get a PlayStation. Well, ironically, the one night I was working there was a customer went by, and he bought a PlayStation, and it was like $129. I think that's what it was, $129. It was that cheap. And they're like, what? And the reason why it was that cheap is because, what was the name of Uncharted? Uncharted. That
Yeah,
game was in that, because it was a bundle pack, and that game happened to be included in with the PlayStation, which the reason why it was on sale is that game at that time was considered obsolete. It was no longer popular. So they brought down the price of the PlayStation to $128 or $29, whatever. And there was only 2 left. And the one guy, which I'll tell you later, which I think I had told, he wanted to try to hoard them and take them, because what the one coworker would usually take stuff when there were big sales like that, and he would resell them. Well, my other supervisor, I said, hey, if we have some of those left, I want one. My kids have wanted one for a few years now. We just can't afford it. This would be the best Christmas present. They're going to shit their pants. So he says, Diane, don't worry about it. He says, I know there's 2 back there. I know somebody probably wants them, but I will make sure you get yours. So he put one aside for me. I put it on layaway, or not layaway. I paid a little bit towards it. And when I got paid that Friday, I got and picked it up, brought it home, snuck it up in the closet upstairs, and I kept it for the kids for Christmas. Now that was in July, but it was like a $400 PlayStation, and I got it for $128. So yeah, that was the kind of buys that we got up there. Who's the stars, the girls or the paranormal?
Isn't there a haunted Toys R Us? I remember seeing something about a famous psychic from the 90s investigating there. I think they showed it on Montel
Williams show. There is in Sunnyside or something like that, California, there is a Toys R Us that made it to the news. And one night, the crew went in to the Toys R Us, and they were kind of doing an investigation in the storage room in the back, because it was haunted. I will be honest with you, which I know you told you the story before, but the one that I worked at, I know for a fact it's haunted. The building's empty right now. If I can sneak into that building somehow, I would love to do an investigation in there, because we've heard things being thrown. We've heard footsteps. We saw shadows. There's all kinds of things that we captured in that Toys R Us. So I would love to go there. See.
She said, thank you. You confirmed it for me.
Yeah, it was sunny. For some reason, I'm thinking Sunnyside or Sunnyvale, California. I think if you look it up, you can bring up, and they actually, when they were talking about it, they showed the clip of them during the middle of the night, all the lights went off, and they're sitting around in a group trying to talk to whatever ghost was in that Toys R Us. But yeah, a matter of fact, when I was working at the Toys R Us up here, I took that clip up, I printed it off, and I took that clip up, and they had it up on their bulletin board in our break room.
Hey, if you had to haunt the place, the Toy Store would definitely be top pick. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think if I died and if I wanted to go somewhere for a good haunting, I would go back there because there were so many good memories up there. And my bosses were so good because when slime was big, they let me be the slime demonstrator. When loom bands, rubber loom, what was that? What was?
Loom rubber bands.
Yeah, what was the big one? Rubber loom?
Loom. Just loom.
No, there's rubber.
Rainbow?
Rainbow loom. I knew it was rainbow. Rainbow loom. When that came out big, I was the demonstrator for rainbow loom. Puzzles, drawings and that. We always had, every time that there was something came out, we had a big event up front with tables and that for the kids. It was a free event. They got packets of stuff and that. Always, they let me, they knew I loved doing that and working with the kids, so they always let me be up there for the demonstrations. Had a blast, had an absolute blast up there. Matter of fact, I have a clip of Jeffrey doing a dance during one of the events up there. It's on my phone.
Doing his little dancey dance.
Yeah.
Actually, a Toy Store versus an old house, no contest.
Oh,
I agree.
absolutely. Absolutely. I would go to a toy store anytime, especially that one. Like I said, if there was a way that I can sneak in, if we can, because it's empty, the building's empty. I think they were putting some kind of a construction store, hardware store, something in there, but it's still sitting up there empty. And there is a way that you can get in through the back, but if we got in and we got caught, then that'd be trespassing, and you'd be reading, well, hey, Diane and some of her family members are held up in jail.
I just said, take Barbie's Corvette for a spin down aisle 7 and kick the giant bouncy balls everywhere.
It was funny because when we was working up there, for one thing, I'm short, which everybody knows. I'm heavy now, but back at that time, I mean, I wasn't heavy, but I wasn't real skinny like I was when I first had my two oldest kids. But because I was tiny and everything, my boss would say, why don't you have Diane demonstrate the Power Wheels? So we did have a Barbie Corvette. And we were allowed, when the store got it, this is why our bosses was so cool. When the store at night before we closed, if it was real dead, he let us take bikes off the rack and ride the bikes up and down the halls. He let us, our first boss was one for, he liked us play with the toys, because he said if people come in and see us playing with the toys, they were more likely to buy them, which made sense. So he would shoot us in the back of the head with darts, and he would let us play with the toys. A lot of times he would say, go open up a new toy, one of the new toys that we got in, set it up and play with it up front. And I mean, that's how cool he was. So a lot of the new things that was coming out, we actually firsthand got to sit there and play with them. Had a blast. We had pogo sticks. We were allowed to go on pogo sticks. Hula hoops. We could play with the hula hoops. And we could do it right up at the register, whatever. It was awesome. It was so fun being there. The racing setups were real fun.
Especially the hex bugs.
We have that. We
That's
have that
pretty
one
big.
set yet. I'm going to put it in the yard sale, but yeah, they're just vertically challenged. But it was so funny because we had, you could clock in at the register, but we actually had wasn't a time clock like the old fashioned ones, but it was like a little screen monitor. And that was where you got your card and you just kind of tapped it and it put it in. And they were changing the location. and the guys was putting it way up on one of the poles. And when I came in that day, they looked at me, they said, Diane, we got something to tell you. And they're like, oh no. And they're like, we did something with you in mind. And I'm there, oh geez, which I knew it had to do with my height. So they took me to the pole and they showed us where the new time clock was. They said, see where the time clock is? I said, yeah. They said, that's not where they were going to put it. And they pointed to where they were going to put it. They said, we told the guys, you can't do that. Diane's going to have to get a ladder, just climb up and, and picking on me about my height. And that. So it was really best crew ever.
Yeah, you hardly ever came home upset about anything. You were always happy.
Mm-hmm.
You always
And
had
it
a
was-
story to tell.
Always. And it was sad because when they closed down, we were down in South Carolina and we were down there, but the year after they closed down, they kind of had a little bit of a reunion for all the employees, and we were in South Carolina, so I missed the reunion so it would be nice if sometime in the future if they'd thrown like another Toys R Us reunion with us all together, because it was so fun. They were truly my family. So, it was Cactus. It was the best. And matter of fact, the claw machine up there, when we had our dog King, that dog was so spoiled and so smart. He knew if I came home with a bag that there was probably a toy in there for him. And normally what it was something that I wanted from the claw machine. And he loved those toys. So wasn't only the kids got gifts every time I came home from Toys R Us, it was our
King was expecting.
he would, and if I didn't have something, he would give those real like sad puppy dog eyes, like what was
and then you'd have to tell him, it's okay, next
Yeah.
time I go back, I'll go get you another one, don't worry.
Yeah, because he would look at you like honestly, like he'd say, well, was I a bad boy or something? Why
Why
didn't I
did they take toys and I don't?
But like Gabrielle said, we said, no, you're a good boy. Next time I go up, I'll see if I can bring you something back. And if he understood,
I
and
think that's where his zombie toy came from
It
that he
was.
really loved.
it was from the claw
Tiki-Tiki.
claw machine.
Uh,
Even his
his
burger.
frog, his burger.
I forgot about his frog.
He loved that damn frog.
Yeah, I forgot about the frog. Yep, those all came from the machine. All of his toys came from the claw machine, because I would see something in there that I'm like, oh, King would like that. And I play until
He
I get
was
it.
so smart too. You could line up like 10, 12 of those freaking things. Say, hey, get your Tiki Tiki. He'd go straight over to the Tiki Tiki and you'd grab it and then he'd put it somewhere else. And then we'd be like, okay, go get your frog toy. Go straight to the frog toy, no hesitation. Drop it somewhere up. We tell him that for any toy, and he would automatically go get it and then drop it off somewhere and then come back and do the same thing over again.
Yep. And
He was so
the
smart.
one time, like she said, we had about like 10 to 12 of them, and we'd say, go get this toy, just to test to see how smart he really was. Get the toy, bring it, give it to us. Go get this one now, and he'd go get the other one. And we did that.
And it's because every time that she got him a toy, she would be like, this is your Tiki Tiki. This is your frog toy. This is your hamburger. She would tell him, and then he would memorize it. And so we'd be
Yeah.
like, go get whatever toy.
And that was the other good thing about working up at Toys R Us, because there was me and there was my one, she was the supervisor, but she became an assistant manager. We were like claw machine junkies. And we were allowed before closing, and there was nobody in the store. Again, like the management was awesome. We wanted to go over and try the claw machine to win a couple things, even though we were on duty. We were allowed to do it. So that's how a lot of times, a lot of Kingy's toys I was able to get just right before I came home from work. And he would see that damn bag, and he knew that there was a
Like, oh, I
toy.
got a toy, I got a toy.
Wagging his tail and his little butt. And
Because it was always a smaller bag. You'd have like these big bags filled with whatever for B and Abby, and then you would have a little bag that has like 2 or 3 toys for King. And he would be like, I know what that is.
I was a good boy today. I get a toy. I was a good boy.
He was,
Oh, yeah.
he was something else.
Yeah, getting paid to play toys. Like I said, Cactus, our manager, I'm telling you what, he loved us pulling out a toy and playing with it up at the register. Like,
I think that's why I felt so bad when me and Abby had to quit Hardee's in South Carolina, because our boss, he was a really good boss. He would play around, he'd joke around, but when he wasn't there, shit hit the fan, especially with Rondo.
yeah.
But he would like throw things at us when we were working, and then we throw things back at him. He's like, "Excuse me, did you just hit me?" And he just like play around and
I know, up at our store, Dan. Hi, Angelina. Up at our store, it was funny because the one day I was walking away from my register, I think to go clean up an area or something. I don't remember what I was doing. And I felt something in the back of my head, and here he had a dart gun, and he shot me in the back of the head with the dart gun. And I'm there like, damn, like, that's how fun it was. It was always just so fun. So, you're good. I want to. Do you have a new video out, Angelina? Because maybe that's what I watch tonight before I go to bed or tomorrow morning. Yeah, it's good to be back, Angelina. I mean, I still have some moments and everything and that, but I'm in a better frame of mind. And it's like our title here, Live Therapy. I think we need it as much as some of you gone there. I know Linda's going through a lot. So Gabriella has things on her mind. I have things on my mind. So, hey, Angelina, is there any update? What's going on with The Conjuring? I seen Jason Hawes had another video out, something about something else going on with The Conjuring house.
she said no video. It will be out on Friday. So no video you can watch tonight.
I'll keep on checking. Because I saw Jason had something on. I don't know what all was going on with that thing, because it was supposed to be October 31st, and here it is, the, what, 3rd?
Yep.
So, cannot say too much on The Conjuring yet. Soon, though, it'll be public who paid debt. So what, it was sold then? That somebody did actually acquire it then? We'll have to talk tomorrow.
Auction was canceled way before Halloween.
Oh, that's right, it was. Yeah, with everything going on, I forgot about that. I forgot about Baby being canceled. That was when Jason started out that he had more hope.
It really has, Cactus.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how right now I feel about the place, because it's just like now it's turning into a freaking three-ring circus over there. And
it's getting ridiculous.
it is. It is. And I really wish something would happen, because it's like now it's, since I've been unfriended, it's almost like I wasn't blocked, but I was unfriended, and I think there was a reason for that. I can't say too much, but well, yeah, and to rub in and stuff like that. But
new lenders filling foreclosure and will help. It will keep the house. That is all she can say for now.
Take a guess, Angelina, at the same person that I have to watch it. I say, because it could be eyeballs. I will. It's probably who you suspect that was involved right from way before we were ousted, which is still a bunch of bullshit. Okay, let me see how things get resolved soon. Yeah, there's still a lot of questions. Like I said, I was curious because I know, like I said, I saw Jason had come out and he had that new video, and then I seen that Elton's name came into it again, and I don't know what that was about. If one of the comments, something about Elton must have made a statement or something, and they said, why in the hell would he make a statement when if he had no interest in trying to buy it? So yes, yes. But there's two of them that has the ending with an A. The other one I really was never friends with to begin with, which I'm that you know pretty well. But the other one was supposed to be a friend, but I know you warned me. You warned me. But we can talk. I don't want to stir up more trouble. I mean, I don't want people to think that I care because I don't, because there's a thing called karma, and karma will come around and nip somebody in the ass. I know. I know
There is a way. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I should probably do it on YouTube.
Yeah. But believe me, I'm a lurker too, because and then I have people, I have informants. Let's just put it that way too. So, so it's, yeah. So it's, okay. What time do you want me to call you, Angelina? And Jerry Pun went off about Elton and a few others. So he was, oh, I didn't know that. So, because I know his name was brought up, and I was wondering what that was. I saw it in one of the comments on that. Okay, I'll contact you sometime after 11 then tomorrow, and we can have a good little talk. Now that my frame of mind is a little bit better, maybe. I know next week I got to go over my daughters for the whole week, so I really can't plan anything then, I don't think. I mean, I can take my computer over, but I don't know if I want to do anything with the kids and stuff and that. But after that, we can. Why you can't see locust privacy rules due to protect viewing. And here's the other thing: the person that unfollowed me, like I said, I snoop. I'll tell that person to their face, yeah, I snoop, because I'm just curious. Curiosity killed the cat. Well, I'm curious. But I also noticed too, some of the content is changed that only select viewers can see some of the content that was posted. So I'm pretty positive I know the reason for it. And the one person that is really irking me is the one that started problems with Abby and Chase. And I had to end up answering to it from another person she started trouble with. And I said, I'm not getting in the middle of you guys' feud. But then she ended up bringing Abby and Chase into it, and now she's there constantly. She's over there constantly. And this person that I'm talking about, Angelina, is somebody that Rob knows. I don't know what the deal, how close of friends or how much they know each other, but she's kind of a ditz, if you be honest with you. It's not that one ending in the A. It's the other one. I know who you think. It's not that one that kind of was like the foundation of a lot of it, but it's the other ones that's friends with that one, which I'll tell you tomorrow. Yeah, Rob knows this other person. I don't know how, because I remember he told me that he knows her, because I even brought it up to her. I said, oh, so you know Rob? And I don't know something. I guess they're still friendly, but I don't know what happened. Well, I'll text you. Okay. Oh, good Lord, help my soul. I'm a badass tonight. I'm a troublemaker. I'm a troublemaker. And I don't really give a shit.
Now there's 6 people watching.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I know Critical Sam comes on a lot and watches. He or she will stay in the background, and because every now and then we'll make a comment like, "I'm glad you're back" and stuff like that. So that makes me feel good that I know that that person comes on too. So, Critical Sam, if you're watching, thank you for joining. I appreciate that. So the second name that I just sent you on Facebook now goes by a different name. She does not go by that name anymore. Yeah, I found that out, Angelina. Like, like I said, there was an incident that was going on with her and somebody else, and the other person ended up texting me an email and said, hey, I need to talk to you. So she called me up on the phone and we talked, and apparently that person started trouble and tried to bring us into it. And I said, wait a minute, our job is to be over there, do our tours, help people do the investigations, have them leave with a smile and say, I'll be back. Nothing more than that. But because this person is the way she is, started trouble with Abby and Chase. And I had to clear that up too, because there was a bunch of bullshit that was said. And who knows what the hell she's saying over there now, because she's like the showboat there, and she's just real like ditzy, like she acts more like she's 10 or 12 years old instead of a grown woman. So I don't know. I love saying names, no filter here. I would, but right now, it's been doing some business, but the funny thing is I was told that he needed, the very last comment after the course of events was, I need somebody that was more, that had more knowledge in events, which funny thing is I was planning that big event over there, working with you and with Rob and Sarah, and it was wait, or he didn't talk to them and they didn't get a chance to talk to him. And Sarah was going through a lot of medical issues and Rob had some medical issues. And the other group jumped into the picture behind the scenes with the person that you originally thought I was talking about. And they had an event, but it didn't bring in any money, where the event that we were going to throw would have probably brought in enough money for us all to get paid well and maybe even help repair the roof. But the events that they're throwing now over there is not really making any money, because so far everything I've seen has been free. So yeah, I don't know. I had at least a handful of ones I presented to them that would have brought in a big clientele and whatever. So like, I don't care. Like, The term that you guys use, they're not going to be renting space in my head because, like I said, karma's a bitch and we'll see what happens. Yeah, it was, the whole thing, Cactus, was how it came out when this course of events was, and I think I said it on another show, is that they tried to say that Abby was filming on the camera them talking about each other, and the camera that's there, only one person has access to it, and that's the owner. We have no access to that camera whatsoever, and plus, why would we want to get in the middle? Why would Abby and Chase want to get in the middle of a bickering that they had among themselves? Because apparently, from what we are told, is that they book things, and a lot of times she doesn't show up, and that was causing problems. But there was no cameras pulled out. The camera there, only the owner can access it, and you can tell if the camera's on anyhow because there's a blue light, and it's just a bunch of stupid, like high school bullshit, to be honest with you. Until they show the video of their lives. Exactly. Yep. Someone is being paranoid. That's yeah. I think there was a comment that was made too regarding this person when we were supposed to go do an investigation, and it was canceled because, and I don't care if she's listening. I really don't care if she's a spy. It was canceled because there was the surprise being planned that same day for me for my birthday. There was a comment made that, well, it was probably for the better anyway. And I thought that was a pretty low comment to make. It was probably for the better anyway. What in the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like, you know, what? Like, I just, whatever. Like, freaking stupid people, I don't know. And see, that's just it. I told him, Angelina, I said that, and what you was talking about, that how yours was pretty much how hers was, but yours would have raised money. Hers actually did nothing. He told me he raised $700 from mainly what our booths did, are the dungeon tours and the mug shots, and what we were doing is what raised the majority of the money. And other than that, he got $700 is what he told us, but he told her that he made $1,400, which still isn't all that much, to be honest with you. What you were planning was pretty similar to what hers was. It wasn't just all paranormal groups and that. There was vendors of all kinds, you know, from all around to make it about the community. But the way you had it set up, he would have actually made good money, and it was like Rob told me, the one that they had thrown, the one event that they actually, another building needed a new roof, and they were able to raise enough money to get those people a new roof on their building. But he threw that out the window because he was too busy playing footsie tootsie with, and I'm saying the name, with Larissa at that time. And that kind of was the whole catapult of the course of events. And I know it was until the day I die. That was the whole catapult of rewinding back when the other people got involved, and where it was set up, and why he kept on telling me, you don't have any worries, you're not going to go anywhere, you're not going to go anywhere. And I found it funny that he had to say that to me all the time, when in the back of his head, he knew that all the time he was planning on getting rid of it, because she was already in the picture.
It makes sense after you would confront him about something, and then he would take a hissy fit about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, like I said,
There's now 6 people watching.
there was a lot of dirty playing and that going on, and
unfortunately, I can't check to see who's actually watching. I can go on like the analytics and see who's like a returning person, but it still doesn't say.
Yeah, I really
The name
don't care, because if
anyway.
there's buyers, here's the thing is, I was brutally honest with that person. And still the other one, the Al one, still to this day, she lied to you, Angelina, said she didn't even know who I was when I was sitting at the table. And to this day, she really didn't even know who I was. That's bullshit. We were introduced. And my position was very clearly made. And she just, I hate when people can't be honest. And the other ones, I asked over and over, and I was told, I'm going to be honest with you, even when the first investigation went that they had over there after the festival and everything. I just wanted to let you know we're going to be doing an investigation over there. I said, well, you had a free one coming, that's fine. Well, I just wanted to let you know because I'm your friend. I want to be honest with you. And then right after that's when everything hit the shithole, and I find that all too coincidental. But people just need to be freaking honest with me. That's why I just get tired. There's a thing called honesty. If I said something about you, even if it's something not good, I'll tell you to your freaking face. I don't need to go and hide and unfriend you and do all this bullshit. I will tell you to your face, but whatever. So, I just wish for everyone to raise the vibe and be better to one another. There's enough nonsense. And that's the whole thing, Cactus. There's just so much ugliness going on, and yeah. I think I can guarantee you he knows who you are. And if I had to guess, Angelina, there's two things. When you told him that in the email and when you made the comment on the page, I can bet you my last dollar that your name come up and it was, oh, well, that was a setup because she's friends with Diane. I can guarantee you that came out. Well, that was a setup because she's friends with Diane. But who cares, Like, call it like it is. I don't care. I know I didn't set you up to say that.
That looks so creepy back there. It looks like two eyes when it turns red. It looks like two eyes like
sideways like that. But every now and then it does back there. It does look like there's something moving back there every now and then. So it's just
like
it does. That's our creepy back there. So here's here from Gabrielle. Did you got those from the church too? I have two more items that Gabriella got me from the church a while ago. And I don't feel anything with them right now, but I really haven't. I'll just show you. So it has a lid on it. This is the small one.
It's like a cookie jar.
It's like, yeah. And then this is the big one with the lid on. So she got me that set. Right now, I'm not getting any vibes. She did give me a vase, another vase, and I had another vase that she had gotten me a while ago. Not the newest vase that she got me because I really haven't held it much, but the other vase that I put up in my living room on the one shelf, that one, I keep on staring at it because for some reason, I keep on getting some kind of a vibe from that one.
I kind of got because I had a vibe from it, but it's not a bad vibe.
I don't know what kind of vibe it is either. I keep on staring and I'm like, okay, I want to reach up and take it off the shelf and just hold it and see if I feel anything or, get any other vibes. But I'm like, no, because it's too pretty up where it's at right now. So I'm leaving it alone. So, but yeah. So.
Oh no, I can't unsee it. Yeah, see?
And that's just it, Angelina. Like, I can't tell you what to do. You're your own person. Like, you can't tell me what to do, and I can't tell Cactus what to do, and Cactus can't tell Linda what to do, and we can't tell Eric what to do, and all that good, jolly stuff. But, you get these people like that you know that goes through their freaking head, and like I can guarantee you, well, that's Diane's friend Angelina. So you put one and one together. Well, all of a sudden Angelina came on and made a comment. Well, Diane must probably put her up to it. So did you read the comment that he met? The comment he responded to yours on there, Angelina? Because he did respond to your comment. He said that they weren't the actual people; they were or sheriffs or something like that, like recent sheriffs or something like that. What?
Linda, it's not a thrift store. It's a church. They give away things that people need, and every once in a while, on like Mondays, if we usually go.
I'll read it to you, Angelina. I'll find it and I'll read it to you.
We usually go for clothes in there because clothes are freaking expensive nowadays, and we don't have money to go to like Walmart or, I mean, we could go to like a thrift store and get clothes there, but you never know where they've been. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But this church, they have already cleaned up all the clothes. They're freshly washed. So we usually go there for the clothes. But they have another section in there that is for, there's like a baby section in there. There's a formal wear section in there. There's all these antiques in one of the section. There's a whole ass kitchen that you can get like anything in there and just grab it freely. And their only rule is that they give you a bag or you bring your own bag. You fill up one of those bags and then you leave. If you fill up any more and they haven't told you to do so, then you might get in trouble because there's more people that need things.
Okay, let me see. This is fantastic. I'm trying to find it, Angelina. I'm trying to find it for you.
You also go to antique shops sometimes as well. Yes, when obviously when we have money and usually when Dylan's looking for like a action, like a Star Wars action figure or something from his childhood, we'll go to antique stores. I do not like the feeling in antique stores. It's like every time I walk in there, there's so much energy from like everything in there that I start getting dizzy and like overheating almost.
I like going to thrift stores too, but like she said, it is kind of like a thrift store, but it's a free thrift store, and now they're adding
It's a church.
a food. Well, I know it's a church, but it's kind of like a thrift store too, but it's free. They kind of recently now they're opening up a food pantry in there because of the whole food stamp thing and everything that's going on. So they do have a food pantry that they're just setting up now to help people out. Here's what the response was, Angelina. He said, because I know he responds, the men in photo are deputies. How is this in bad taste? Do you know the names of the men pictured? He just doesn't get it, does he? It doesn't matter if they were the actual people in there or not. It represented the people that were executed. Like, how could you not get it? Like,
Yeah, he doesn't have common sense.
well, first of all, you know what my thing was, and you guys tell me what you think of it. This is the idea that I gave him for a T-shirt, and it wouldn't have been offensive to anybody, and I thought it was kind of cute, and I thought it was kind of cool. And I thought since he constantly focused on freaking the old stone Jill, you know, and the picture, certain picture, and I told him, I said, why don't we do this? Because you want a little catchphrase that people maybe might even hum to in it. I said, why don't you get a nice picture, a regular not a actual picture, but a like picture of the jail and have like ghosts coming out of the windows or spirits coming out of the windows, and then have the old stone jail ain't what it used to be. And you can sing like the old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be. You can hear that tune going in your head, the old stone jail ain't what it used to be, because there's spirits flying all out of it. He said he liked that idea, but he goes with something stupid like that.
Or even he could have had a photo of like the
He could have even had just the gallows and said, "Come
Gallows.
hang out at the jail."
Yeah.
So nothing more.
He could have did that, or like ghost flying in the background of that,
Something,
not
yeah.
what he has. We miss Smitty.
We do. You know, we had such a rapport with Smitty over there. Like, you know, I know we don't have any concrete proof that but there's enough stuff that we had asked over and over and had the same answers over and over and over that we're positive we were talking to Smitty. He probably, like, just the whole thing, like, I think the thing that bothers me the most is he probably would have lost that building if we didn't step in, because he only had one more year and he wasn't planning on moving back until the following year. But because when we opened it up, it became so successful right off the bat, that's why he moved back earlier. And it's just like, so we get everything set up for him, he runs off with the glory. Like, and now the other ones who already has a place of their own, that's the part that bothers me, that she already has a place. Why is she so obsessed with being a part of that too? You know, I would have rather seen him going somewhere where another person like that really didn't have a big name or whatever. And
no, it's because it was more popular than her place.
Well, whatever.
I just hate how they got rid of the bracelets people made for Smitty. Why would you do that?
He got in, now like people were actually coming in and putting like a bracelet, or like even Haunted Nights when they was there, they left their Haunted Night bracelets in there. They were putting like little trinkets, not just throwing them in there. They were putting them like on his, like the mattress and that there, or hanging them up as a little, here's for you, Smitty. And he made on his website, there will no longer be any gifts given to Smitty. They will be removed every night. But then again, too, he's worried about people stealing his tools and like, watch, I'll get in trouble. He'll probably say, I'm following suit because you're bad mouthing me. It's all on his site.
You go on the web. Didn't actually say his name, so
and it's all on the site.
There's
too.
No proof that we're. So, well, I mean, there's proof that we're talking about him, but there's no proof that we actually.
If you connect the dots, you know who it is. But I mean, at the same time, I can't get in trouble for something he has right on his own site. So.
But the thing is, with the whole bracelets, before we even got there, there was this one friendship bracelet that was hanging there for years, and when we got there, we realized that it was there. We're like, oh, this is so cute, a little gift for Smitty. And so when we were doing the tours and everything, we were like, if you want, you can leave like a little trinket or gift for Smitty. Nobody's going to touch it. Mm-hmm. Now they can't.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, Cactus, you asked if we were doing any other investigations. We've been talking about it, but the kids, Abby and Chase and them's been doing like a ton of door dashing, and we're trying to get out. We need to get it in because we've told our followers that, hey, yeah, we'll be back and stronger than ever, and we haven't gotten any investigations
and I haven't been on like the last 2 investigations because of either not feeling good or not being able to make it.
Fear.
And fear. And we're leaving it at that.
But yeah, so like, yeah, I am like, I need an investigation, and we are actually trying to plan. A friend told me that this time of the year, up until February, I think it is, that the Madison Seminary, you can get in there, and I did check the prices, it was $150 for up to 6 people to do a 8-hour or 12-hour. I think it was one of the two, 8 or 12-hour investigation at the Madison Seminary. So I would like, I told the kids, I said, I'll pay for the gas and whatever else that I can help with if you guys pay for the investigation. Or we can all just put a little bit towards it, but we need to get something in, so. Gabrielle and I, we talked about this the other night. We do want to get in the back and see if we can go to the cat's graves.
The biggest thing right now is it's so
It's
freaking
cold. It is cold, especially if we go out like this time of the night, like the temperature right now. Let's see if it's changed. It's saying 48. I don't think it's 48 right now. It has to be
Does it
colder.
say that it feels like anything else?
Well, no, it just dropped to 47. It says feels like 42, and we are supposed to get down to 38 tonight.
Oh
So,
man, we're gonna be.
but
freezing
yeah,
out.
we would have to bundle up, and then there'd be breath coming out. Then with it being outside, and there are other cats outside, and we have bunnies back there where their graves are, it will be kind of hard to get a really good investigation in. That would be like legit that we could actually say, yeah, we heard something. So,
Linda.
why don't you investigate? I want to sneak in there, Linda. I want to try to get around there because that house, I'm telling you, from the day we moved in this house, that house has called out to
I
me.
don't know if that's a good thing though. That's kind of what, like when we were investigating this house, whatever was in that room the one time, it was kind of little in there. It got a little scary in there at one point. We were asking questions and it said things about over there and they weren't great.
Yeah, but we got told that there was like a lost wallet, and that it referenced that house because it said we were saying it was this house, and they said,
And it was talking about a lot of females and how they're like seeking revenge for something that happened to them either in or at around that house.
and the one female apparently got the wallet off of the attacker, and this kind of it's buried. Didn't it say like in a box or
It
something?
said in the ground.
Yeah,
It said like in a pair of jeans in the ground or something. Or
yeah, something like that.
find the wallet. Yeah, I think it said in the ground.
Yeah, something.
It's
Yeah,
buried
yeah.
somewhere.
Our last house was messed up. I have so many clips of stuff at that house. I would really wish that we didn't have to turn off our Ring camera when we were moving or anything. The subscription to it because there was so much stuff we caught down there that was freaky, and I really wish we would have caught some of like when the spirit box started talking just Latin words, and that one night when the spirit box, and I said, or not the spirit box, the REM pod, I said, well, I didn't say it to the REM pod, but I said, can you complete this pattern? I went, dun, 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 dun. Well, instead of us hearing it in house or anything, the freaking REM pod, I've never in my life heard a REM pod repeat that pattern, and the REM pod beeped to dun, 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 dun. It repeated that. We looked, me and Gabriella looked at each other.
Because
We're
it
like,
happened so fast, we were like, did you
yeah,
hear
like,
that?
were
Am
they
I
like,
going
no
crazy?
freaking way. No freaking way did
Both
it just
thought we were
do
going
that.
crazy.
And so it was just like, in the Latin that was coming through was every time we looked it up, it was regarding demons and evil.
Even
And
on that one app where you're supposed to wear the goggles to see the images and everything, but we don't have the goggles. So you could get a free version of the app. And I don't remember what the fuck that app was called. But every time I pointed it towards their bedroom door, it always showed like flames and like this skeleton guy and like horrible things. And I was like, what does this mean? What do you have living in your bedroom?
because we, like I said, the words we got like Diablo, and we got other words and that, and everything had to, well, the only difference was we had like priest come up, but we had like Satan, we had evil, we
And
had
then we looked
hell.
up some of like the Latin words, and it was like foot of Satan and toe. It was weird, like things that had to do with the devil. And we're like,
yeah, or like, and why would, I mean, why would Latin come through to begin with? I didn't even think that anything, why would anything Latin?
and it said things like broken back, broken femur, like all these weird, like kind of like jumbled up.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
It was. I wish I wish we could find out if there was still activity in that house or not.
Considering that they did that massive remodeling down there, I don't see how there wouldn't be. But
At the same time, it could have been a portal from that mirror that we gave away to that window. Whoops.
and you're not there because I think a lot of it had to do with you because of shit you were
Well,
going through.
that's true. It could have disappeared whenever I left.
I will talk to you tomorrow, Angelina. I will call you sometime after 11, but I'll text you first and ask you if you're up to it because, you know, I understand, but there's a lot of catching up that we got to do and still want to go ahead after your medical stuff is all done and taken care of to do what we had talked about doing. But you get some sleep. I will talk to you tomorrow. And thank you so much for showing up. I really, really appreciate it. We all love you to death, and you take care of yourself.
Night, Angelina.
Good night. She knows we love her. Love, 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 love her. But guys, tomorrow night now again, we will be back on at 9, and we will be talking about the Talpa, and we will be talking about the Philip experiment. So I will tonight or tomorrow morning see what I can, because they seem like they go hand in hand together. But Gabriella was telling me a little bit of some of what she found out about Talpa, and quite interesting. So we will. No, that is your dad broke some of the branches off that tree out there, but it keeps them scraping against the side of the house.
It sounded like bark.
Yeah, it could have probably been there.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Their dog over there barks too. So, but we're going to call it a night here because I didn't think that I thought for sure we would be on only maybe half an hour to maybe 45 minutes, but we're at an hour.
Here we are again.
Here we are. So, but I mean, that's good, you guys. Some of you know, well, I think pretty much everybody that was on here tonight kind of knows what was going on, except for the ones that was hiding in the back, because I said we did get up to 7. So there was somebody else on there. We were up to 7.
Who's the lurker?
Who's the other
Show
lurker?
yourself.
But I really needed this. And for those of you that have reached out to me in text, you know who you are. You're on here. I cannot thank you enough. I thank you for the understanding and talking to me and helping me get to this point here where I'm at tonight. So I'm just glad that you guys are in my. There's Parasolo. So Parasolo, hey, try to find out yet for information about the school house down there in northern Cambria. See if we can't talk to maybe see if Jim Whitehead, he's the police officer up in Spangler, see if he can find a way to get us in that school down there, and we can do a duo. We'll do our team and you do an investigation in that school. But thank you for coming in, Parasolo. I really, really appreciate that. The rest of you guys,
Kathy said, pretty sure one of them was her friend while she worked. And Linda said, we won't let you escape. You're our prisoners.
Yeah. So, but you guys are just, you know, I've told you before, I had that one episode on that it was just not about us. It was about you, the audience, you, our friend, you, our followers, you, the people we love and have given us the support to keep us going.
Which I have to check up on Sandy again sometime.
Yeah. So we're going to call it a night here. We will catch you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And we will have an actual total topic that we were talking about. So we will see you then. And Parasolo, again, thanks for showing up. Good night, guys. We love you guys a lot. Thank you for caring. I love you guys terribly. So good night, guys.
Night, guys.
Bye.
See you some other time.